Hello and good afternoon. My name is Josh. Thank you for joining the Octavia Phelan Public Library for our virtual authors festival. This year's theme is visual storytelling. Our next guest is Tasha Martinez. Her artist name is Rezmo, and you can find her on Instagram at Rezmoski, and I'll tag her social media handle in the comment section down below for her latest works and projects. Tasha is from Gallup, New Mexico, and her clanship is Hona'ghaahnii, if I didn't butcher that. It means one who walks around another, and the Naaki Dine Clan, which translates to Mexican. Tasha was born off and on the Navajo Reservation. She graduated from the Institute of American Indian Arts in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Originally, she went to study native fashion, but ended up leaving there with a degree in painting and a love of graffiti. Foremost, she is a graffiti artist. From the moment she picked up a can, she was hooked. The thrill that came from getting up and my growing love for letters is what really put her art in motion. She never thought that graffiti would bring her this far or open up so many opportunities along the way. Quoting directly, I think I naturally gravitated towards graffiti because there is so much freedom in painting and no set technique, just your own. Majority of her inspiration comes from her culture and her children. She is who she is because of the stories and beliefs that she grew up with. Today, Tasha Martinez will be presenting on Adventures of Rezmo in Dinéland and further. You're more than welcome to leave questions for Tasha in the Facebook comments down below by tagging your questions, hashtag Tasha Martinez. So without further ado, allow me to introduce Tasha Martinez, AKA Rezmo.
Hello, everybody. Like Josh said, my name is Natasha, but most everybody calls me Rezmo or Rezi. I am originally from Gallup, New Mexico. That's why this is, I was so excited to do this because I grew up in Gallup going to this library, spent every summer here, trying to read books, check out the newest like CDs at the time, so I'm really excited to be presenting with the Octavia Phelan Public Library from back home. So yeah. I started in graffiti back in 2003-ish. I was going to the Institute of American Indian Art for native fashion. But at the time, there wasn't a lot of people signed up for that program. It was pretty brand new. So they decided to get rid of the program because there wasn't enough students. So I went into painting to see, before that, I did like to paint a lot as a child. So yeah, from there, I started getting into painting more. And growing up in Gallup, at the time that I did, a really, a really long time ago, there was the way I saw graffiti was a lot of gang tags. There was a lot of east side, west side, all up and around Gallup when I was little. And I remember for Earth Day, we would go and clean up these with our classes. We got our rollers out, our paint out, and we would go paint like little murals over it and everything. So what I knew of graffiti then was just seeing that, so I didn't really have I guess an idea of what it really was until I moved to Santa Fe and I started going to Albuquerque a whole lot more. And when I went to Albuquerque, there was so many murals down there. There was a lot of older people doing murals, that really told stories. And I saw these images and pictures, and I was just so like amazed by what graffiti was. I saw what graffiti was back home, which was tags and gang related. But when I went to Albuquerque, it just really opened my eyes, and I was like, wow, I want to do that. So I was fortunate enough to have a couple of people take me under their wing, kind of take me around and start seeing spots and start painting with them. And I just never thought like starting out there, I would be here now, because over the years I traveled a lot. I went to so many hip hop shows. We sold merchandise. We got around, to different like states and stuff, Arizona, Colorado, New Mexico, just kind of like hustling and making money so we could go to the next show, the next b-boy jam, painting, buying, getting money to buy more paint. So yeah, that's where I first started so many years ago, was just going to the next show. If I had to quit a job, to get to that show that wouldn't let me go, I would quit and go to a b-boy jam in Colorado, and go to I remember going to a show in Shiprock, one of the first under the bridge jams, and it was amazing to me because I never thought I would be in my um, homelands painting under a bridge, and no one's gonna get mad about it. So yeah, and today, like I said, I just didn't think that my art would bring me this far. I'm I'm nearing 40, and I'm still doing graffiti. But I've also got to the point where my art's been shown in galleries, different exhibitions. Last year, before COVID started, started happening, I was doing going back and forth between LA and here, doing some shows back home, mostly like in Santa Fe. I live in the Salt River Pima Maricopa Indian community, and so a lot of opportunities I got in the last few years was to work with the children around here. So I've done painting workshops through the library, youth summits, painting for that. So I was actually I was teaching a workshop when we first started hearing back in March, the coronavirus had started hitting the United States. And so at the time, I remember thinking like, oh, it's not going to get worse. They're saying it's we shouldn't be worried about it. And you think about it, and then the next week we never came back from spring break from schools, or because we were painting during spring break, because I work at a school over here, so we never went back to in-person learning after that. And up until that point, I was traveling, doing exhibitions, galleries, workshops and stuff. So at that point, it just kind of stopped. So yeah, it's been a crazy year since then. My own family, I did grow up in and out of Gallup, so a lot of my family did end up getting sick with the coronavirus. My mom and my dad, my brothers. And at that time, I felt really helpless. Like I couldn't do anything. All I did was listen to them on the phone, pray for them that they were going to be okay. My dad, he got really bad. So it was kind of like day by day, just waiting for a phone call, waiting for a text, making sure my siblings were okay, my family was okay. There wasn't really much we could do because they were afraid to come here, because in Arizona, the pandemic was ripping through us. Our numbers were skyrocketing, and we were scared to go back home because, the same with the Navajo Nation. You heard the numbers were rising, and, the best thing was to do to keep everybody healthy was to stay home. So during that time, it really bothered me. Like I felt like I couldn't do anything. And so I am a part of a collective. It's called Neoglyphics. We're an all indigenous aerosol collective. There's a lot of graffiti writers that are in it that are indigenous. We decided to do a fundraiser to try to see if we can help the Navajo Nation. So I put up one of my designs. We made a shirt. We ran it through Bonfire, which was a fundraising, I guess, shirt making company that would help us print out some shirts. So we sold a lot of shirts. It was truly an amazing experience because a lot of people were sharing it. A lot of people were buying shirts to help out, and it kind of felt like I got a little sense of like power back, I guess, because like I said, I felt really helpless. I couldn't help my family. We had to stay put. We had to stay here. So after we finished fundraising with that, and the Navajo Nation had gotten a hold of Neoglyphics and said, would you guys like to do another fundraiser? Haynes would like to work with you. So we ran another fundraising campaign with, a small company out of Kentucky that, that just out of the goodness of their heart was like, we want to help. We want to help with what we can. They wanted to print the shirts if we came up with the design. So yeah, we worked with them. We worked with Alternative Apparel from Haynes, Kentucky for Kentucky, handmade hope rags. I'm sorry if I messed that up. And we came up with another fundraiser, and 100% of the profits went to the Navajo Nation COVID Relief Fund. And yeah, so that's pretty much what I focused on during the whole the rise of COVID and everything. Are you signaling me? Josh? He might tell me, we didn't hear you at all any of that time. So I was just waiting for him. Let me see. Hold on. Do you mind if I screen share it? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Sorry, they're trying to share the designs that we came up with. Okay, yeah, so this is the design for the first fundraiser that we did with Neoglyphics and Bonfire. My really good friend Amy, she helped me with all the edits. I bugged her religiously, like every single day, because I'm not good with the computer at all. So she really helped me. So I came up with the design, and she did all the editing for me. Underneath this, we put the word Bitsil, which means strength or strong in Navajo. And, at the time we heard Diné strong, our people were resilient. And I really thought that this would be a good design to, I guess, go try to do fundraising with, because I look at her and she's wearing a cape. It's almost like a superhero. My daughter actually, she was the inspiration behind this because she really likes LOL dolls, and she kept saying, "Mom, I want to see them that look like me. They don't look like me." And so one day it kind of just came out that way as we started drawing together, and then when it was time to do this fundraiser, it just hit me immediately which design I wanted to use for this. So yeah, this was the design that we did for the very first fundraiser that we did. I guess, do you have the second one, Josh? So like I said, there was a second one that we ran. Oh, and there's my son. He's wearing the shirts that we came up with. Yeah, see in the bottom it says Batil in graffiti letters, little bubble letters. Okay. And oh, it's a little cut off. This is the one that we came up with the second design. This took a lot of work. I did bug my friend Amy again and my friend Dwayne to help me out with all the editing, everything, and then they helped me with everything else. So in English, it's together we are stronger, because at the time it felt like we were all sitting in our houses, alone, but really we were all, going with this together. We need to encourage each other to stay home, stay healthy, reach out to those that are, around them instead of, or checking up on them, making sure they're okay. So that was really what I thought of when I was going to this. She's kind of sprinkling the world with her teddy, her corn pollen. That's what I think of when I pray, or when, it was like trying to pray for the world. So that was kind of the concept of this, was just trying to heal, and heal together. So yeah. And this is actually the lady that I worked with to come up with, this whole fundraiser. This is her little girl wearing the baseball tee with the design on it. So yeah, that's a lot of what I did during that time. I also work at a school, so I helped with distributing food to the community. We did food boxes. We handed out during food during distribution. So through the it seemed like every day was a little bit scary because we had to be like face to face with the community. We didn't want to get anybody sick, or vice versa. Sorry, I was reading one of the chats down there. So yeah. Um, and now I guess I am trying to get back into the swing of things. I know that there's like different things that are starting to come up again. It was really nice to see that people are starting to show their work again in galleries, little events here and there that friends of mine are starting to get their artwork out again. Shows that are coming up, hearing about opportunities to start to travel again and stuff. So it kind of makes you hopeful because, you know, for a minute, like they shut down everything and we couldn't really do the stuff that we planned on doing. Like yearly shows that we were getting ready for, exhibitions, trips to different states. They all just came to a halt. So now, yeah, I'm looking forward to trying to get back into the swing of things. Um, this week, actually, I had my first solo exhibition launch through Jico Arte y Cultura. My first solo exhibition, like ever. So I was really so honored and thankful, because I've been part of other people's exhibitions or group exhibitions, but this one showcased my art. You can actually uh, check them out. And okay. So yeah, if you want to check them out, it's spelled Xico, Xico, Arte y Cultura. They're on Instagram and Facebook. But yeah, it's a virtual exhibition. And like I said, it's my first one. When I told my parents about it, and they were so excited, I think I ugly cried for a couple hours, and then still ugly cried yesterday and today. I do have a workshop coming up. Oh, it's Zico. It's Xico Arte, which is Arte Cultura. Sorry, I read the chat again. um, but yeah, I have a workshop coming up within our community. It's a painting workshop. It's given by the tribal library out here. So it's kind of like full circle because that's the workshop I gave at when the pandemic started, or COVID started reaching here in the United States. And now we're going to try to safely do that for the kids in the community because I feel like I benefit a whole lot from those workshops because I would love working with the kids. I feel like a big kid working with the kids with, I paint and my spray paint and stuff. So really, it's so much so much fun for me to go and do that. And I don't know. It's so yeah, I don't know if that's it. There's a lot of stuff that that I keep missing. I was a little nervous, there's a lot more stuff that I've gone through, throughout the years, and a lot of traveling, a lot of lessons that I've learned. Graffiti definitely is a lot different than when I first started out. When I first started out, it was a felony charge. There, people were like, oh, this is property damage. We don't like this stuff. You know, these people are tagging. It's just a lot different. I think in terms of where we are with it now, like you see graffiti in galleries and exhibitions. You see a lot more women. Like I am amazed by the women that I get to paint with now. Um, some really good friends of mine, a couple on here right now. And I think that's one of my biggest inspirations are them, and you know, my children and my culture. But just to see them and see how they paint and just their energy and their excitement as much as I am, you know, to be there and to paint and, you know, be together. So yeah, like I said, graffiti's come a long way since I started painting, which was, I don't know, 17, 18 years ago. My son actually said recently, Mom, can you teach me how to paint? I want to paint like you. And back then I would have been like, no, I don't think that's a good idea, you know. But now, just the way things are, I think like I said, the misconception of graffiti, like we're changing it, you know. Graffiti is beautiful. Like to me, like it's my favorite thing to do. Letters, words, spray painting. Um, so yeah, I think by being able to show my son that, like, hopefully he'll have an appreciation for it like me. You know, even as being an indigenous person, you know, our ancestors, they painted on walls, to go through ceremony or tell stories, and I think of it the same way. You know, I pray every time I paint. I pray that I don't mess up. I pray that, you know, we have a good time, that everybody is in good health, you know, and I paint. So I guess to me, like that too, like it's kind of a ceremony for me because it's beautiful. It's like telling a story, you know. And when I do it, I feel like I'm painting what I feel. So yeah, I don't know if Josh, if there's any more. Yeah, if you want to post or start the slideshow with the photos on it. Um, like I said before, I'm not good with technology. I've only done screen sharing once, so if you want to do it, go right ahead. So yeah, like I said, my culture, I where I come from, I put a lot of that into my work. I try to mix Aztec glimpse, you know, because I am Mexica through my father's side and I'm Dene through my mom's side. So every piece I like to put that into it, my story of who I am and where I come from. Um, this little symbol at the end, it's called Miss Queetly. It's it's death, but in our ways, we don't think of death as death. You know, it's like a cycle. It's just like the beginning again. So that's the reason why I like to paint it. You know, death isn't the final end of life. You just, it starts again. If you want to go to the next one. Oh yeah. And this has been my what I've been painting during the pandemic. I got a little stir crazy, and me and my husband set this up outside. And so I started painting outside at home just to stay safe, and be under a tree rather than painting in a piece that takes like 7, 8 hours in the hot sun, you know, because I live out here in Phoenix. And there's a little, I tried to put like a little Mexica lady there at the end, but I didn't have enough room. You go. So yeah, Josh. And I try to paint characters, mostly Mexica women. A lot of that comes out of my art. I think it's mostly because the women in my life are so strong. Like my mom, my grandmothers, the women I paint with. Like I feel like they're just such a big inspiration. So a lot of the paintings I paint or the murals I paint, I try to uh, paint the same image just like over and over again. And then my brother-in-law, he painted that little cool design in the back of it. It's a basket design. He's Autumn, so it's really neat. Check his work out now too. His name is Dwayne Manuel. He has such neat murals like that too. So I was really fortunate to be able to paint this with him that day. And this the same thing. We got Slalak at the end, or tech pot at the end. It's a flint knife. And I like to think of, well, not think of, I know this. We believe as Dene people that sunrise is one of the most sacred times of the day. We pray to the, we pray to the east. We're supposed to wake up with the sun and stuff. So a lot of the colors I use reflect like sunrise. So that's why a lot of them kind of look like that, like the same color schemes and stuff. Just because, paint what I feel, to paint what I know. Okay. Sorry, I'm waiting for it. And this is a mother feeding her baby. Like I said, a lot of my inspiration is from my children, from our cultures. Actually, graffiti really helped me take a look more into my dad's side of the family. I grew up knowing more about my Dene side than my dad's side, just because we stayed with our mom, and they spoke Navajo. We practiced ceremonies. We called the medicine man before we even went to the doctor. Just things like that. So I think by starting to paint more things like this, it helped me understand my dad's side more, which I'm very fortunate. I never thought like graffiti would, uh, get me in touch with, my dad's side, which is really cool because I understand it a whole lot more, and that's something I can share with my children. That because now they're Autumn as well, and I want them to know that, like to represent their whole self, Autumn, Dene, Mexica, all of that. So but it's mostly the reason why I paint these, so that they see, be proud of who you are. You know, we're all so beautiful. Okay, yeah. So this is again, it's actually the closest I got to painting, uh, painting at home. I've never actually painted in Gallup, and this was done in Farmington, New Mexico. So it's a funny story. My parents, they're all cops. My uncles, my godfather, they were all cops. So when my dad first saw one of the pieces I painted in Gallup illegally, but this was many years ago, he told me, Tasha, if I ever catch you doing this ever again in Gallup, I will arrest you. I don't care. I don't care if you're my daughter. It's breaking the law, and I will arrest you. So till this day, almost 18, 19 years later, I have never painted in Gallup, New Mexico. So actually, this is the closest I've ever painted was Farmington, New Mexico. And so I'm getting there. I'm getting closer. Maybe one day, maybe even after this, he'll be like, you can paint here, but, of course, not illegally. um, this was painted in Los Angeles for, I believe it's the Athena's Garden event. It was an all women's uh, graffiti event. And my friend Rogue, who's actually on here right now, she did the basket design at the end and the little character at the top. And really, I think without my letters, that, I mean, her piece is so beautiful, that basket and that character up there. Like, it could have been done on its own and not even needed my letters there. So yeah, this is a collaboration we did, And like I said before, COVID hit and everything, it was really awesome to be able to start going and doing shows in California. Um, and hopefully, we start to get to do that again. Hopefully, Rogue's on board. My best friend Yuku, she's such a big inspiration. I love her to death. We paint a lot. We've gone to this event too. I should have shared a picture of her piece. It was like right next to us, and I panicked when I had to share all these pieces and send them to Josh. So yeah, like the same. I keep a lot of things the same. Like I said, the sunset, the tech pot at the end. These are different pieces I painted around the reservation here that I live. Um, so yeah, it's pretty much the same letters over and over again, and somehow those letters become more freeing than anything that I've painted before. So you could do the next one, Josh. Yeah, and here, this was for the Phoenix Mural Festival. My kids and my husband helped me paint this. They have never come out before like this, and I think that's the reason why this moment and this piece was probably the most powerful for me, because they were out there painting with me, and it was really hot. And yeah, this was about mixing of cultures. The older one showing the younger one their traditional ways. Preservation of culture, like showing them how to plant. And this one, the younger one, is like listening to the stories. Because a lot of our ceremonies do go around like the harvesting seasons. A lot of our songs, we are centered around those type of things, nature. So yeah, this was what this mural was about. Go on. Yeah, I'm sorry, I feel like I'm just going on and on at this point. I swear I had some like a big old story to tell, but once you're on this and people are watching you, and you kind of forget everything at that moment. But yeah, as an artist, I think it's very important to represent, like I said, your whole self. I'm Dine and Mexica. Growing up, it felt like I was mixed, and I never really kind of felt like I mixed or I fit in with everybody. Even when I went to the Institute of American Indian Arts, it felt like I was having like mixed feelings about who I was. Didn't feel like I was Navajo enough. It didn't feel like I was Mexican enough. It felt like, there's a lot of conflicting feelings, like trying to prove that I was Navajo enough. I was trying to prove that I was, that I knew about me, myself. I look different from a lot of Dene people. So I think no, I know art like helped me understand myself more. Painting the images that I paint, I take a lot of different pieces of my cultures and I put it into it. I know that sometimes it's conflicting ideas, or as Dene people, we're really superstitious. Um, so I know that, but also I know that it's important for me to represent myself, especially for my children who might go through the same issues someday. Like they might look at them and be like, "Oh, you don't look, Dene, or you don't look Autumn," and I don't want them to feel like they shouldn't learn their culture, shouldn't learn their language. They shouldn't they shouldn't be feel ashamed, because I know that there's a lot of people out there that feel ashamed that they don't know their stories or their language, and that kind of like shies them away from learning that. Even a couple of my own family members have said, we didn't learn our language, so I feel like I should feel like ashamed that I'm trying to learn. So it kind of pushes them from not learning the language. So I think that's what's really important, which I'm trying to express in my paintings, that like it's okay, you know, it's okay to be yourself. It's okay to understand that about yourself. I mean, and to encourage people to learn, you know, like if you are Dene, learn your language. You know, learn about, if you weren't raised that way, if you don't know your language or your beliefs, then ask somebody. Like that, I always felt like I couldn't ask anybody about things, like especially like Mexica stuff. Like, should I ask that person? I might feel kind of funny like asking them, but by asking, like I guess I learned more about it. I just gave a interview or a podcast about Mexica art and history, and that's something that I would never been able to do, because I learned more about my culture. I did my own searching rather than, feel bad that I didn't know too much about it. So yeah, like I said, that's the message I'm trying to get through my paintings, and they've helped me understand myself more than I thought that anything could. Okay, sorry, I'm still reading the chat. Actually, if you want to do that now, Josh, I think I ran more and more, so I'm ready when you are.
All right. So I do have a few questions. One of them is from Tracy Lassiter, who is currently on our Zoom call. But it's Dr. Tracy Lassiter. She did ask a question beforehand. I'm looking forward to this presentation, as a topic of public art, murals, and graffiti are a topic I teach during one of my UNM Gallup classes. So I would be interested to know what Tracy does teach at the local branch. I'm encouraging my students to attend this presentation, but her first question is, perhaps you can speak a bit as to the role graffiti art plays in a community.
Hmm, that's a good question. Well, I guess in the community that I live in, we're trying to teach the children, I guess, like if they're creative, to express themselves. Like if they're not, I mean, if they're not going to paint, to use like learning about graffiti and learning how to paint as an outlet to finding what you want to do. Like I have a lot of poets and a lot of people that like to do creative writing attend our workshops, and it's not to get them to want to be painters, it's more to get them like inspired and focused to do it, because I feel like it brings us together. The little kids around here, they get so excited when we do it, and I get so excited to see them, to be able to do it with them and to talk and just kind of be there for them. Like I guess a big brother, big sister situation. There are a lot of kids that I got to see in the beginning when I first started working with different groups in Salt River, like the youth services, till now, and yeah, it's really cool to be able to see those kids kind of like flourish and still be there and still coming around, and you know having those conversations. I don't know.
Uh, Dr. Tracy Lassiter's next question is, in your opinion, what is the line between art and vandalism, a topic which some of our readings, videos, discussions bring up?
Well, I guess when I first started, it was art, but there is also, I guess, like our own rules that we kind of went by. Like there were certain things that we wouldn't paint. There was certain places we wouldn't hit up. I guess we had our own set of rules. When I first started painting, like I said, it was illegal. It wasn't what I'm doing now. I guess it's such a big topic. It's such, I can't tell you not to or to not. I know there's still, graffiti writers out there that are still painting illegal. There's some graffiti writers that stop painting illegal and are just doing like legal stuff, murals, things like that. I mean, I guess I'm one of them. I stopped doing, a lot of illegal art just because it did get pricey there for a minute. And I'm a mother now and a kind of role model to my children. But I guess it's just like I said, the misconception of graffiti. What it was then is definitely what it isn't now. I guess I'm fortunate enough to live in a place where there's a lot of muralists around here, a lot of street artists, a lot of graffiti. There's always a lot of people that are like, can you come paint? Can you come do this? Can you? So I feel like I'm fortunate enough to live in a place where a lot of people would like to see that on their walls.
As I mentioned before, Tracy is on our Zoom call. And she put in our chat box that she would like to ask you something. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the floor to her to ask a question that she has.
Okay.
Hi, thank you. I just wanted to come back to some of the conversation you've brought up, because these are, again, topics that our array of readings cover. I teach English and communication at the branch. And in my English 100 class, which is the developmental reading writing class, we have a whole set of readings on public art, graffiti, and murals. And when normally, when we meet in person, I take everybody on a field trip and we walk all those Gallup murals downtown. And we look at those details up close. And then later on in the semester, as we come across different readings, we can connect what the essay is bringing up with our own community. So some of these have to do with this line about, is vandalism a crime? There's actually some scholars, some artists who say, no, we should be teaching kids this. This should be on the art curriculum. There might be one way where it doesn't, if you want to prevent the vandalism, quote unquote vandalism of it, teach it in school. And then, a lot of them are, what does public or murals or even graffiti say about a community? How does art reflect community? And I think your pieces very much do. So I'm just really interested in how the art speaks for the community, and then how the community decides they want to have it as art. They select maybe, art that will be commissioned, one of those murals on the side of the children's library and so on. So then, what happens to those murals? Like if the children's library gets knocked down when they build a new library, what happens to that beautiful piece of art? Go. So there's all of these kinds of questions, and you've talked about some of them, like the vandalism one. More about maybe, art and community, and then, who owns the art and what happens to these pieces someday if a building is sold or something.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like, there's so many different opinions about it, there's so many different opinions. Like if you talk to me, I'm gonna have a different opinion from another, a graffiti writer around here. I do live in a community where there is a lot of artists, like whether it's painters or basket weavers, things like that. So I really feel in the community that I'm living in, I'm really fortunate to be around a lot of artists that support each other, whether that's painting or, I never thought that I would be living here and being asked to be part of a youth leadership summit and showing kids how to paint graffiti. Like I never thought that would ever happen, because like I said, there's that stigma around graffiti that it's illegal, but we're teaching it out here. Like I said, I'm teaching a workshop in a couple weeks during spring break to the kids of the community here, and it's a lot different than when I was younger, when every time we looked at at graffiti pieces, it was legal and you would get in a lot of trouble for doing it.
So our next question, well, first of all, I would like to thank Dr. Tracy Lassiter for the questions and comments for our discussion. Our next question does come from Jim Sharp. He only has one question, but how do you decide what to paint / graffiti?
I guess because I painted so long the same 5 words, that's what I like to do. Like I know that you'll see a lot of artists that paint like these characters and these beautiful scenes and scenery, but for me, I really like to just paint letters. I think it's because when I first started, I just like painted little bubble letters here and there. But I remember hanging out with one of the guys that was my best friends at the time, and he was doing all these crazy things that with his letters that it didn't even look at letters. So at that point I was like, wow, like I can do these letters, but it doesn't just have to look like regular letters. And I think that's why I have so much fun with it, because I try to I don't know, make the letters not look like letters, but look at like letters at the same time. But as far as I like to incorporate my culture in it. Like I said, a lot of the times I add like little Mexica glimpse at the end. That's if I don't know what else to paint, that's pretty much my go-to is just letters.
So I do have a few Facebook comments. So the first one comes from Tom Keegan, aka Auntie Donna. It says you rock, but when are you coming back to Boston?
As soon as I can, when I know it's safe. And then I'm not really completely convinced that I'm okay to get on a plane right now. So maybe when things die down a little bit more, I'll be on a plane to Boston.
You can tell the chat they can stick around after the stream ends. In the chat.
And then I have another one from Anitra Webster. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing your name correctly,
Yeah.
but she commented, sisters in paint with a bunch of emoticons.
Yeah, that's my best friend. She's the one that we paint a lot together. Yeah, my kids call her Auntie Nitra just because we've gone through so much in the last few years. So yeah, I love you too, Anitra.
So if anyone is interested on Facebook, if you have any last questions, you're more than welcome to post it on our Facebook comments. I am monitoring the chat, so you're more than welcome to submit any questions you have for Tasha. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and wrap up the presentation. So I'll give it about 2 to 3 minutes if anyone does have questions. In the meantime, I will go ahead and briefly do a screen share of some of Tasha's paintings that we didn't get to today.
Okay, sounds good. I can't wait to see it myself.
So I do have a comment from our Facebook from Nicole Martin. Tasha, do you have any art for sale?
I might. Actually, some of my pieces are coming out of a gallery right now, and I don't remember, it was 5 or 6 pieces, but as soon as they come back, I can post it and I'll let you know. This one behind me right here is actually somebody had already bought it. This one I'm working on right now. But yeah, like I said, I have some pieces that are coming back from a gallery. So once they come back, I'll post them and I'll let you know. Thank you.
All right, if anyone else doesn't have any questions, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up our presentation for today. Everyone who is currently logged into our Zoom, if you could stay after the presentation is over, and we'd like to talk with everyone and thank everyone for joining us. Let me just turn on my camera.
Thank you guys for bearing with me. I know I rambled on a lot. I just got home from work, so and I totally had the times wrong, so kind of caught me off guard. But thank you, everybody.
So I would like to thank our very special guest artist, Tasha Martinez, for sharing her presentation on Adventures of Rezmo in Dinéland and further. The Octavia Fallon Public Library here in Gallup, New Mexico invites you to join us for live and recorded presentations daily for Virtual Authors Festival during the entire month of May. You can find the full schedule of events at our website at ofpl.online. I will go ahead and post the direct link to the calendar in the comment section down below. Please make sure to like and follow OFPL on Facebook and Instagram and subscribe to our YouTube channel to stay up to date on all of our library events and programming. On behalf of the Octavia Fallon Public Library, thank you for watching, and we shall see you next time for our next presentation.
Thank you.